Well, there are growing fears of a violent crackdown by police in Hong Kong. It's now early Monday morning and protesters are standing their ground. The city's chief executive has set today as the day that city streets must be cleared. Natasha Fatah joins us now with the latest developments. So, Natasha, what new information are we getting about the protests?
Well, Christine, we're getting new reports into the newsroom as well as new video footage. I think that we can roll some of that for you. What we're seeing is in Mong Kok, and those are actually lined up there, police officers, about 100 of them dressed in plainclothes but still wearing the police vest. And they haven't moved in arresting anyone yet, but certainly the pro-democracy protesters see this as an act of intimidation to push them out of this area and send them home. Certainly, we've heard from the police earlier today saying that they would take the necessary steps to make sure that everything was dismantled, that the barricades would come down, that all the demonstrators would go home, and that life would return to normal. This is an edict not only from the police, but from the Central Authority of Hong Kong and also from the Beijing government. Now, many are afraid in terms of the pro-democracy movement. They're afraid of the crackdown from the police. Will it become violent? Have a listen to what one protester had to say.
We guess tonight maybe the police or the other people, they will use some violence to our people, to MK people, and so we need to protect ourselves.
So you get that sense of commitment still to the cause, but this fear, they don't know what's going to happen next. So as we understand it, there are still a handful of protesters still in Mong Kok, but across the harbor where you have the government offices, there are several thousand still waiting out there in these late hours waiting for what's going to come next.
And I know that's tough to predict what's going to come next, but what might we expect?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, last Sunday we saw tear gas, and that was the most violent thing we had seen come from the police towards the demonstrators. So there is some concern on the part of the protesters that maybe they will see that again. The police have been threatening to move in, make sure that the demonstrators go home. We've heard from CY Leung, Beijing's man in Hong Kong. He says he wants things back to normal. So they don't know if there's going to be violence. They don't know if there's going to be tear gas. They also don't know, maybe nothing at all will happen because, of course, for the past few days, they've been saying they want people to stop, but they haven't taken any action. So they don't know what the breaking point will be. We'll certainly get a better idea of what will happen on Monday morning when people start going to school, start going to work. What will be the actions of not only the protesters, but the police and the government?
And we'll continue to keep a close eye on the situation. Natasha, thanks for this.
You're very welcome.